Well, it's done. The inaugural Leeds Cup tournament is in the books, and I think it's only fitting for the final game of this Leeds Cup tournament. It goes to a PK shootout, and it turns out to be a marathon one because throughout the many things I've learned in this Leeds Cup tournament, one thing I learned when it goes to a PK shootout in these Leeds Cup games, whether in the knockout stage or in the group stage, is either there's going to be some crazy things that we have never seen before, or the fact that it's going to be a marathon because I have seen some of the longest PK shootout in this Leeds Cup tournament. And heck, let's not forget the 19-round PK shootout in that game between Vancouver versus Leon, which it was kind of fun at beginning, but then it just kind of become torturous. Pretty sure for neutral and even for both fan base that was watching that PK shootout. But nevertheless, I want to congratulate Inter Miami of winning the inaugural Leeds Cup tournament. They outlast Nashville SC in the PK shootout. 10-9 is the final score after this one. Win 11 rounds. But overall, when you look at this game, I mean, I'm gonna say that this game it's not as crazy as what we saw in the MLS Cup game between the Union and LAFC. I mean, I think it's gonna take a lot to top that game. That was probably the craziest cup final I've ever seen in my life. And then when the World Cup final happened, I mean, let's not forget about that crazy final between France and Argentina. But still, it was a decent final. I mean, there were definitely some big moments and some MLS after dark, or shall I say Leeds Cup after dark kind of moment that has happened. But in the end, the difference was the goalkeepers, and it actually turns out not only in terms of them making some save in these games, but also turns out it was the battle of the goalkeeper in the PK shootout. And it was Inter Miami and Drake Calendar, who I think throughout this tournament, as much as I know Messi has gotten all the headlines, I'm gonna say it again for the people that don't know. Drake Calendar is really the true unsung hero of this tournament because as much as I know Messi has been going nuclear, Drake Calendar has done just some crazy things since day one of this tournament that he has played for Inter Miami from that game that he had against Cruz Azul, where the Messi moment wouldn't have happened if Drake Calendar didn't keep this team in the game. And in this one, he once again makes some huge save in this one, and then not to mention making the crucial PK shootout to win the first ever trophy for Inter Miami. Now, in the first half, the atmosphere was absolutely electric. I mean, that was kind of expected. You knew that the atmosphere was going to be electric. I mean, Geodis Park, that stadium, when it is packed with 30,000 fans, it's probably one of the best atmosphere, if not the best atmosphere, you can ever get in an MLS game. So yeah, you knew that that was going to be the case. And while I definitely saw a lot of Miami jersey and definitely saw some Argentina and Barcelona jersey in the crowd, there was a lot of yellow in the crowd too. And Nashville fans, they did their best to try to drown out any Messi chant that was ringing out during this game. But I thought early on Nashville had most of the possession. They were on the front foot, and the first shot of the game did see Shaq Moore pulls it wide from long range. I've also saw a graphic saying that Miami have scored 5 of 6 goal inside the first 15 minutes. So one of the things about Inter Miami is that they waste no time in terms of scoring goals. I mean, they have been scoring their first goal very early, and that was key for Nashville in this game. Like they have to keep Inter Miami scoreless in the first 15 minutes. They cannot give Inter Miami an advantage early, which has been a problem for some of these teams that have faced Inter Miami, where they go behind the 8 ball very early, and then they're kind of chasing shadow. But to Nashville credit, they was able to held them scoreless as the clock hit past 15 minutes. So that would be now 5 of 7 games that Inter Miami have scored a goal inside the first 15 minutes. Though in the 17 minute, Zimmerman would head it right to counter, who had a free header. Yeah, that's one that Walker Zimmerman will want back because you know that when Zimmerman gets a free header, he doesn't usually miss on those chances. But the first shot for Miami did see Panico denying Taylor from close range, but then in the 23rd minute, you knew this was coming. You knew Lionel Messi is going to score in this cup final. Like, again, I know obviously after this game, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to say this is scripted and that we kind of saw this coming from the beginning with the way that Inter Miami has won the is going to win this tournament from the beginning. Well, you know, I'm just going to say that as much as it sound like it, I don't think this is scripted at all. I mean, Nashville really gave it at all, and certainly for all the teams that have played so far in this tournament against Inter Miami. I mean, I mean, I even go back to the game between them and FC Dallas. Dallas really gave it them all, and then if it wasn't for Dallas just completely imploded, they probably would have won that one, and we wouldn't even talk about Inter Miami in this final. But one thing for sure is that there's a reason why Messi is the greatest of all time, and yeah, you knew he was gonna score in this one. It was a great goal too, but at the same time, it was not great defending from Nashville. And this is the thing: when you, of course, are trying to stop Messi, you have to be pretty much perfect in terms of your defensive play. You cannot just turn the ball over and basically don't clear their lines. Here, I think it was McNulton didn't clear his lines very well. It goes straight to Messi, and Messi said, "Thank you very much." He's gonna just tuck that one in, and yeah, that gave Inter Miami a 1-0 lead. Yoda's part basically exploded, not because of Nashville fans in the crowd, but there was a lot of Inter Miami fans and certainly Messi bandwagon that was in this game. So yeah, they definitely made a lot of noises. And then after that, I thought Miami started to control the game, and this is where I fought for Nashville. This was going to be important. I think Taylor Twellman kind of mentioned it multiple times throughout this game. They need to calm down and they need to keep their head in this game because the last thing you need is to just feel dejected the fact that you're down 1-0 in a cup final against Lionel Messi and Inter Miami. You need to try to keep it tight, and that's also kind of something that I think the Union didn't do in the last game, where it kind of got to them when they found themselves behind the eight ball, and then it just kind of go through. And I will give credit to Nashville; they didn't dropped off. In the 34th minute, Mule had a header that was crucially blocked by Miller. So in some way, Nashville almost got themselves the equalizer if Miller didn't block that header off the line. And then in the 31st minute, or the 35th minute, that is, the ref was then told that he really sucked. And I had a feeling this was going to happen because that's kind of a specialist in terms of a chant at Geoda's Park, and especially Nashville SC fan. I mean, I think they're probably the one that chant that the most out of any team. I mean, I know other team has a different way to say ref you suck, but I won't get to it because it's a more explicit way. But yeah, the ref you suck chant did ring out in the 35th minute, and again, I thought it took longer than expected. I thought it was gonna be a chant that's gonna ring out from the first minute after something that goes against Nashville in this game. But I also thought that Nashville just couldn't launch the transition. They continue to seems like they're chasing shadow, and this is where I just had a feeling that they need to keep this at 1-0 as long as possible, because if Miami get that second goal, we would have saw something similar to the game that we saw against the Philadelphia Union, where the Union looked completely dejected and they were chasing shadow. They were basically chasing the game the whole time, and they just never able to get themselves back into it. But to the Nashville credit, they were able to head to halftime with a 1-0 deficit, and again, that allowed Gary Smith to at least make some adjustment heading into the second half. Now, in the second half, Pico would blast it high from long range. The ref was then told he really sucked again in the 53rd minute, and it was louder this time because Godoy had his challenge on Busquets ring out the first yellow card of the game. I didn't think that was a yellow card. And if there is one point where you can say that this game is kind of scripted and maybe a game where this was one of the things that I was kind of concerned, the fact that maybe Inter Miami is going to get the call goes in their favor. And I thought throughout this game the refereeing in this one much better than what I've seen, and definitely better than what we've seen earlier in the game between the Union and Monterey, where I'm just glad that there was no controversial call that we had to talk about at the end, though. This one is probably one of those ones that you can make a case that Inter Miami got the call in their favor, because I think both Busquets and Godoy kind of went sliding in on the same challenge, and I feel like that feels fair to me. I didn't think that was worthy of a yellow card, and again, it was no surprise when that happened. Yeah, the ref you suck chant was really loud inside Geoda's Park. Kamaski then curls it just wide from close range. That was very close. I mean, that one just missed the left side of the post. But as the old saying goes, and I'm gonna throw a cliche. This game is a game of inches, because look what happened in the 57th minute. Nashville got the equalizer. It's Papa Pico scoring from Surridge to tie the game up at one apiece. Now, I don't know if they changed that to an own goal yet, because on what I saw, it definitely didn't look like Pico actually hits this one in. It actually took a deflection off of a Miami defender and counter. I think that should have been awarded an own goal. But as we speak, the league website still says that that's a goal awarded to Fafa Pico and Surge, of course, getting the assist. But what is not a big surprise about that goal, it came off of a set piece. And honestly, I knew this was going to be a thing that could happen in this game because as much as I know it might be another cliche saying that set pieces change how a game of this magnitude happen. I thought it would have played a big role because, knowing the fact that Miami has had a lot of problem this season defending set pieces. In fact, I mentioned before I think they have gave up the most goal out of any team in terms of set pieces, and multiple times in this game they look really, really lackluster in terms of their set piece defending. And when you face against one of the best team in terms of set pieces in Nashville, which I even wrote, it came over a set piece. That's been the bread and butter for Nashville since day one. That is just typical Gary Smith style of soccer, capitalizing chances on set pieces, and against a team that has just had a nightmare in terms of dealing with set pieces defending all season long. You knew eventually one of them is going to go in, and that happened. And yeah, that ties the game up at one apiece. The volume definitely have rose again. I mean, the crowd was kind of going nuts. It feels like the momentum was now with Nashville. Though Messi did blast it high on the free kick in the 63rd minute before the post would deny Messi from long range. And again, Nashville, they got away with this one. I mean, they didn't get away with it in the first half, but oh my, they got away with this one because once again, they switched off. Like, you cannot switch off when you're faced against Messi, and they are very fortunate the fact that the post, of course, came to their rescue. But that being said, in the 76th minute, on the other end, Calendar would rob Surridge, who was in on goal, but it goes right to Mukhtar, and his shot was deflected wide. I'll tell you what, that save by Calendar not only is the best save that he has made throughout his career, but this is kind of almost reminiscent of a save that is as big as the one that we saw in 2016. Remember in that 2016 MLS Cup final where Stefan Fry made an incredible save denying Josie Alter on a header? I think that was very similar to that magnitude because, yeah, with how hot that Sam Surridge has been, you would expect him to tuck that one in. But what a big save that was from Calendar to keep this one at 1-1. And I also wrote, buckle up, boys and girls, because, we've seen Leeds Cup After Dark kind of craziness. We're about to get that in the final 15-minute. Things are gonna get crazy. And it definitely didn't feel like neither of these teams want to go to a PK show. It looks like it was looking to go for the winner before we go to the PK shootout. Mukhtar with fires it wide on the free kick, and then Calendar with denying Mukhtar from close in the first minute of stop each time. I thought Hani Mukhtar eventually started to grow into this game. I mean, he was relatively quiet in the first half, but this is Hani Mukhtar. This is the reigning MVP of MLS. He's going to eventually showed up, and that if it wasn't for Calendar making some big save, he probably could have gone on the score sheet in this game too. So that being said, in the second minute of stoppage time, Calendar actually prevented an own goal that one of his own player actually deflected back toward him, and he pushed that one away. But then in the third minute of stoppage time, yeah, this was the moment where we had to take a couple of minutes to realize of the fact that this moment, I know eventually Miami would win the whole thing, but this would have been a big talking point because Campana actually was in on goal here. He was trying to chip Panico, which I think that was the right decision because when you're in on goal, the goalkeeper comes off the lines, you're gonna try to chip it over him, and I will say that he didn't do a good job in terms of chipping it over Panico. It kind of decided to go wide, but he still had a chance to kind of slide that one in to hit it into the empty net, but he struck the post. And I will give Campana some devil. Or, well, I wouldn't say devil advocate, but give him some slack with the way that that's not an easy finish with him trying to slice it in to redirect. Like, it was a very tight angle for him, and he just missed that. But I just could not resist by saying, yeah, remember this moment if Miami does lose a Nashville win. I think this would be the moment that will be remembered for a long time, and a moment that I won't be surprised MLS Reddit page is gonna make memes about this when Monday does come. But that being said, we do go to a PK shootout. In fact, that was the last kick of the game, and in the PK shootout, we saw Calendar denying Leao in round two before Panico making a big save to deny Uyola in round five. I was very surprised seeing Victor Oriola stepped up to take the what could be a decisive penalty to win the Leeds Cup for Inter Miami. I mean, as much as it would have been a great story because Victor Oriola, we talk about a guy that, from in my opinion, he's always been one of my favorite player with the way that he has that kind of hard work mentality, and that even though he's not a talented player, he has that hard work mentality where he's been able to still stay in MLS, and not to mention the guy that has been with this Inter Miami team for a very long time. I think even since day one too. He's actually one of the last Inter Miami player that was part of this team in the expansion season. This would have been a great story and script ending for him to score the winning penalty to give Inter Miami the first ever trophy. But nope. Instead, Elliot Panico had other idea. He denied him from the spot. And keep in mind, they also mentioned he didn't really have a lot of PK experience, and that PK that he took kind of sums it up. I mean, I just like, as much as it's a great story book ending for Miami to have Victoria winning the or winning the Leeds Cup tournament with that winning penalty. I just feel like maybe the moment was too big, and also just I don't think they could have chosen another player besides him to take that decisive penalty. But that being said, after the PK is missed, we go into sudden death. And again, one thing we know about this Leeds Cup tournament, when it goes to sudden death, it probably will be there for a while because we would have 5 consecutive rounds without a PK that is missed, and none of those PK that was missed was even anywhere close of missing it. I mean, it was quite incredible seeing each of these players steps up and take a clinical penalty. And again, you know, you you got to give credit to both of this team. The fact that it has to be gut wrenching, stepping up in a pressure cooker situation like what we see in this PK shootout, and yet they still stepped up. Like, it's almost like they're taking PK in training. I mean, just crucial penalty kick. Neither goalkeeper had any chance in terms of saving those PK that was made during the sudden death round. So that all changes until we get to round 11s, and this is where we get to the battle of the goalkeeper, with both goalkeeper taking the penalty. Counter, of course, drilled his penalty. So here comes Elliot Panico stepping up in round number 11, trying to extend this PK shootout into round number 12. And I think before Panico took that penalty, they showed that he was kind of talking to himself. That's when I knew that Panicle could potentially miss this, because anytime when I see a guy that's kind of talking to himself and looking really nervous, which I think Elliot Panicle was, I think he was really, he looked like he was really nervous. He probably have, it looked like a guy that have never taken a penalty. I just had a feeling that, yeah, it seems like he's probably going to miss that. So, to no one's surprise, he did miss that. Counter denied Panicle there. It was not a good penalty. It kind of went straight down the middle, and Counter easily palmed that one away. And yeah, that was the difference in this one. As in round number 11, we counter the 9 Pinnacle. It wins the inaugural League Cup to Inter Miami. But the shots in this one, 11 shots compared to 6 that Miami had. 6 shots on goal for the 2 that Miami has. 3 shots off target for the 4 that Nashville has. Both teams had 1 shot that was blocked, and possession-wise, 59% possession compared to 41% possession that Nashville has in this game. And like I said, for Inter Miami, congratulations of winning the first ever Leeds Cup tournament, and also with them winning this tournament, they're now not only going to be in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, but they also get to skip the whole group stage that we're going to see with the CONCACAF Champions Cup next year and go directly into the round of 16. And I believe they're also involving the Inter Conference Cup, or whatever that is called, because I've heard that they're working on a new tournament between CONMEBOL and CONCACAF, where the winners of the Leeds Cup tournament, the winner of the CONCACAF Champions Cup tournament, the winner of the Copa Libertadores or the Copa Sudamerica is going to face off in a tournament like this. Um, if that of course does materialize, which most likely it is going to materialize, because we already have heard that there's rumors that Inter Miami not only is going to be participating in the Champions Cup, they could also be participating in the Copa Libertadores, as what we heard. Though again, as much as I know Inter Miami is getting invited all these competition because of the whole Messi hype, I don't know if they have enough time to participate with all these tournaments, especially we know that MLS. I have a feeling that maybe this could be used as a way for them to start to think about expanding the roster rule, which is something that they absolutely need to do it after what we've seen seen this season with teams playing not only 34 games but also in the Leeds Cup, Cup tournament itself. And also, I'm interested to see how the Terra wear is going to be with both of these teams when they do get back into league plays, and especially for Inter Miami too. I mean, as much as I know, I'm crazy to say that they're going to make it to the playoffs and had an incredible run in the latter part of the season. They're also going to be in the U.S. Open Cup semifinal and possibly could be in the U.S. Open Cup final too if they beat FC Cincinnati. So yeah, with just so many games that they have to play, and this is on top of them have to play that makeup game that they have because of playing in the final, and their game is going to be postponed. And the same goes for Nashville in terms of their game tomorrow being postponed. It's going to be interesting to see how the fitness is going to look like and whether if they do have enough in the tank. But for now, Inter Miami can enjoy. They can celebrate of reaching um, mark that they'll remember for a very long time. I mean, there's no saying you will always remember your first, and that is definitely the case in terms of winning trophy. But for Nashville SC, I mean, this is a tough one to swallow. I mean, this is a really tough one to swallow. I mean, the only good news for Nashville is the fact that they are back into regular season play in a week, and it's going to depend on whether that will kind of make them feel much stronger for them to have that desire to do well in terms of the regular season because I think with the way that they've been playing in this Leeds Cup tournament, I do think that they have played really well to a point where they can really carry this form into the regular season and can really be one of those teams that is going to be challenging for MLS Cup this season in the Eastern Conference. That being said, we also have seen before where teams lose a heartbreaking final and they just completely crumble after that. So it's going to be interesting to see how the mentality is going to be for Gary Smith team for the rest of this season. We'll see whether if that this loss will drive them to feel more hungry to finish very well in terms of the rest of the season and get themselves near the top spot of the Eastern Conference, or are they going to crumble and potentially be in a dogfight of making the playoffs. Well, actually, I wouldn't say that. I think they're in a pretty good position where unless if they absolutely collapse, I think they definitely make it to the playoffs this season. But we shall see how the rest of the regular season is gonna be because, as I mentioned, the regular season is gonna restart tomorrow. I mean, as much as I know it's crazy for me to already move on from the Leeds Cup. I mean, it's been a great tournament, and again, I'm gonna definitely make some video talking about and reflecting this tournament. But it's time to focus on MLS play, and I'm pretty sure for every team, it's time for them to focus for the home stretch of the season, and it should be very crazy in terms of down the stretches, especially in terms of when you look at the standings for both of the conference or the playoff races, and even the race for home field advantage. It's going to be very interesting to see as we head down the stretch and heading down to the last 1.5 month of the MLS regular season. But there you have it. That is pretty much it in terms of looking at these Leeds Cup final game. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of this game. And like I said, congratulations to Inter Miami winning their first ever trophy and also the first ever Leeds Cup tournament. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.